Hey guys, welcome to the Baker Show, episode number 2. Happy y'all could join. Today I'm going to be talking a little bit about the micro, those habits and techniques you can be putting in place, which are so important when we're talking about succeeding in the long game. You know, whether it be building a business or, building a life of full fulfillment, being completely fucking happy day in and day out, or, whether it be about sobriety. I know it's really important, to look at the long game, but it's also really hard to look at the long game, when you don't have those day to day, those micro adjustments that you can be making on a day to day basis, to succeed in the long game. And that's what I'm going to be talking a little bit about today. So yeah, when it comes to success in anything, it's so important to pay attention to the micro, the long game, and not get too wrapped up in those short game things, short game worries. But at the same time, I think it's really, really, really important to be implementing those, techniques and habits in the short game, in the day to day, that are going to train your mind, train that muscle, and set you up in the future, for a bigger picture of success. And, when it comes to sobriety, which I'm always going to talk about sobriety, it's first and foremost for me, because if the bottle's not set down, none of my other dreams or aspirations, are gonna come true. So when it comes to sobriety, that's a day-to-day, disease, and you have to treat it as one. I'm 53 days sober today. Before 2 months ago, when I started thinking about, becoming sober, holy shit, it was miserable, because I was thinking about, all the fish fries and all the barbecues and all the Super Bowl parties, and all those social events, throughout my future. And it made me fucking go crazy. Thinking about, how am I going to have fun with everyone else in a social environment drinking, How am I going to do that? So it went from that, and not knowing how I was going to go the rest of my life, because I was looking at it in the macro, to diving into a 12-step program and really taking it day by day. And what it's done for me is magical. I went from that mentality to actually going days here and days there without thinking about a drink for a whole day. I would lay down in bed that night and be like, holy shit, I didn't think about a drink today. That's awesome. It went from that to going days without thinking about drinking to now, at 53 days, I'm like, I never want to touch a drink of alcohol again, because I know that I won't be able to succeed the things that I want to succeed in life if I do. And it's binary, it's black and white, it's just that simple. And grateful that I'm realizing this at 23 years of age is a complete understatement. It is a complete understatement, so that's how I look at it. And I know it's going to be a day-to-day outlook for the rest of my life, though, because, just a couple days ago, I'm already in the mentality of I don't want to drink anymore. But just a couple days ago, I still have triggers. And I was driving down through the country to go visit one of my buddies, and it was like I had this massive desire to drink. My chest got tight. It scared the shit out of me. I'm 49 days sober at this point, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? Why do I want to stop and grab a six-pack so bad? And I started thinking about it. My drinking career started, in San Saba County, and there's 512 miles of dirt road and about 4 cops. So there's a lot of places to run and hide and stay away from the law. And so that naturally, that's what we did. We drove back roads and got drunk all night. Thank God nothing bad happened. And that's what we did. And the scariest part for me was, that habit of getting behind a wheel and feeling the need to drink. I carried that through 6 years of my drinking career, whether it was a 15-mile drive to town, whether it was a 5-hour drive to Lubbock, whether it was I was driving around Hawaii with 300-foot cliffs on the left-hand side of me. I always had a beer in my hand. It felt comfortable. And so the other day when I was driving to Stephenville to go see a buddy, I was just driving through the country, listening to the tunes that I always listen to, and it triggered me to want to drink. And it was scary, but it makes me realize that this is a day-to-day treatment. You got to keep looking at that, whether you're 50 days sober, 5 days sober, a year sober, or 12 years sober. And this goes into anything, building a business. It seems building a brand, a personal brand, a Nike, whatever brand it may be, there's going to be those little macro day-to-day things that seem so irrelevant at the time. But in the macro, in the long game, they're extremely important. And I'll give you a couple examples. I'm attempting to build a personal brand right now. And so when I'm walking into work, walking into First Watch, and I'm taking a selfie on Snapchat or on my Instagram story, explaining that I'm walking to work on these days, or explaining that I'm getting a haircut because it's Wednesday, or explaining that I'm having family dinner on Thursday. It seems so irrelevant at the time. But then I think about it and I'm like, wow, this era is presented with an incredible opportunity. I think about LeBron James. Like, if LeBron James, we don't know shit about LeBron. We know he's a good basketball player. We know he's put in his time on the court. But is he happy? Does he have a good work-life balance? Does he have a good marriage? Do his kids all this stuff, and we really don't know who he is. So I think I use him as an example, but if he were to call one of his fans that loves him, right? And they answered, and he said, "Hey, this is LeBron," their reaction would be a certain way. It'd probably be hysterics. Going crazy. Oh my God, LeBron's calling. And I think about that and the position that we have, the opportunity we have to really be honest and be vulnerable and let people know about our lives. And not only that, but let our words reach hundreds of thousands, even millions, to help people. And so if you're going to add value, you have to be honest. You have to be honest no matter what, whether you're in a good mood, whether you're in a bad mood, whether you're in a shitty mood. And so then I take it from LeBron and I think about it in a different scenario. Say someone spent 10 years building a brand around themselves, their name, and their fans feel like they know this person. And say this person calls one of their fans. It's a completely different reaction because they feel like they know you on a personal level. It's really cool. It's a cool concept. And so those day-to-day insignificant feeling things that you're training your mind to get in the habit of doing, they seem so insignificant at the time, but in the macro, in the long game, it's completely vital for your success. And that goes into, even training your brain to if you want to live a life of full fulfillment and be happy constantly, it's not just a decision that you can make. It is ultimately, but you have to train your brain to get to that point. You have to do daily exercises so when somebody fucking cuts you off on the freeway and gives you the middle finger, that you look at it in a positive way and not a negative way. It's really, it takes a lot of practice to get to that point. A couple things I do, to train my mind to think only positive thoughts and no negative thoughts. One of them is every time I sit down and eat, it seems like a good time, I write down 5 gratitudes, 5 things I'm grateful for, and I write down 5 desires, things that I want to achieve. And that's kind of always working my brain and keeping my brain in this, wow, I'm happy. I have a lot of things to be grateful for, and I have a lot of things that I want to achieve as well. And it constantly is working my mind. Another thing I do, just slide that over, is thanks. Is 2018 happiness jar, and every night before I lay my eyes to rest, I'm writing the happiest moment of each day and throwing it in that jar. One, because I think it'll be cool in a year to look back at all the happy moments of everyone that's come into my house, and I ask them to write on the happiness jar or in the happiness jar. And number 2, it's putting my mind in a state of mind of happiness and positivity before I go to sleep. And I mean, studies have shown the last thing you're thinking about at night, if you're worried shitless about your job, or if you're happy and you're thinking about the happiest thing that happened to you that day, I mean, you're going to subconsciously think about it throughout the night. That's what a dream is, that's a little more conscious, but you're going to be subconsciously thinking about that all night. And so that's a really good exercise for me to work my mind and start staying in that positive mindset. So, yeah, the words that I have today are really just those things that seem annoying and insignificant on a day-to-day. Think more how that'll affect the success of your long-term goals, of your life as a whole. And it does, I promise you. I can already see it happening. It's fucking magnificent. It's crazy, dude. I went on a first date a couple weeks ago, and I was scared shitless. I'm gonna be honest with you. And I was getting in the shower at 4 o'clock, getting cleaned up. I was really, really fucking nervous. And I was thinking about the fact that I'd normally have 6 beers in me right now, or I normally would have discreetly eaten 2 Vicodin just to feel comfortable in my own skin, and that's what I did, in any social environment. And so I'm sitting here thinking, holy shit, how am I going to pull this off? I'm going to have to be with this girl for 4.5 hours. I'm really excited, but I'm extremely nervous. And the fact that I pulled it together, and from the moment she got in the car to the moment she exited the vehicle 4 hours later, the night was completely seamless, and really surprised me, actually. I thought it was going to go terribly wrong. And so, those are those promises that come along with, sobriety and practicing these things. And I'm just telling you, the things, not drinking, putting down that drink, or whatever vice you may have in your life, may be an eating disorder, may be a jerking off disorder, you may be addicted to porn, but setting whatever it is down, it's more than just setting the drink down. It brings so much more to your life, because you're not running away from your problems. You're having to face them head on. You're not getting upset or sad and drinking away your sorrows. You're having to sit there and fucking face this shit head on, and the result of that is a completely different outcome. And 10 times out of 10, it's more positive. And I'm realizing that the promises I'm seeing, working these steps in this 12-step program, and setting down the drink, and actually starting to feel comfortable in my own skin, and being able to conversate, being able to find things in common with people that normally I wouldn't even think to talk to. It's an incredible feeling. So that's all I got for today, and I'm so glad y'all joined in. But just remember, one day at a time. One day at a time. Also, this is scary as shit to be vulnerable like this. So, if y'all like the words that I'm saying, if y'all get value out of what I have to say, or if y'all don't, either way, like, please let me know. Please let me know what y'all think about this stuff, because that's what motivates me, and that's what inspires me to do better, do more, whatever it may be. I appreciate y'all. Peace.